Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
What is up, everybody? It's Chris and Aaron back again with another weekly episode of Angler Talk. How we going, brother?
Good, man. Good. Getting out there more and more. I actually did a little work on the trailer over the weekend and, yesterday, and then got it, or Friday, excuse me, and then got the boat out Saturday. Did a little bit of inshore, kind of in the river fishing up to the mouth of the inlet, and then back through the mangroves. One small snook, a couple small sea trout, nothing really to talk about, but the water temp, Chris, was 86 degrees, dude. When I tell you hot bath water, dude, like you had to find the change in depth to be productive, and it just got too hot out there for me, dude. Before even lunchtime, I was done.
I hear you, man. Well, this weekend I didn't get out. You know, it was a little bit of a family weekend, I would say. But next weekend I am calling the shots, and I'm saying I'm going to do some night fishing. Maybe try to spend the night on the beach in a little tent and get it going. You know what I'm saying? But this week we got another YouTuber along with us. His name is Chris Collier. Better known as the Chef Outdoors, and this guy has a phenomenal YouTube channel, catching and cooking fish in your backyard of the St. Lucie River and Sebastian Inlets, and we're going to get to that conversation. I hope you guys enjoy. And here we are with Chris Collier, the Chef Outdoors. How we doing, bud?
Oh, doing great, man. It's awesome to be here.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure having you, man. Your YouTube channel is it's gaining a lot of popularity these days, and you're doing your thing, you know, doing the catch and cooks, and some of these delicious plates that literally make my mouth water, man. So, what gave you the idea to come on to YouTube and share your passion for fishing and also what you do for a living, which is being a chef?
I just really I love to share things with people, and I'm like a sponge for knowledge, and anything I can contribute and share with others, I just love to do. And I always started out with fishing and mechanics, and then I got into culinary arts, and it's just always been a passion of mine to do things, and I love people and just living life and experiences, and not being like held back by a 9-to-5 job, but just getting out there and doing all these things, and for me to hopefully inspire other people to do the same and live their life and not just go to bed and go to work and be miserable, but to live their life and have fun what they're doing. I'm all for it.
Yeah, and that's huge, bro. I mean, that really is, dude. I mean, that's something me and Chris try to inspire to do. I mean, we go back all day, almost every day, back and forth, talking about, hey, listen, we could become pirates at the end of the week, dude. And just do what we love to do. I mean, I got the boat, and if you're ready, I'm ready, kind of thing. So, no, just joking, but I get that, and that's inspiring just hearing that, man. I have to ask. I see a lot of seafood being cooked and prepared on your channel. Is there a certain culinary art that you have, or like, is there one that you prefer more than the other, which is like pastries or seafood, or
It's interesting. I think with all things we get into in life, and I'll get all philosophic on you. I really feel like you start out and you're like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
this is what I like to cook. This is the fish I like to fish for. I'm only a live bait fisherman. I'm only a lure fisherman. I'm only a fly fisherman. I only do offshore. And the evolution of everything that I've done has come to a point personally where I love everything.
Yeah.
And in cooking, I've been a chef. This is my 23rd year in the culinary industry.
Wow.
And I started out, I was like, I just want to be a fine dining chef and work at country clubs and have my own restaurant. And I don't want to own my own restaurant at all. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do, and now I'm like, oh no, this is a lot of work.
Right, for sure.
But I've kind of refined my art and to the point where I love everything, and I went 180 on my spectrum. I enjoy more meals that like triple D kind of stuff, diners and dives, than I ever do at fine dining anymore. I'm like, man, I'll find a gas station with a deli in it, and I'm like, yes, this is what we're eating today.
That's my kind of guy. I like it.
Alleyway, I'm like, it looks shady. It's probably good.
That's exactly right.
So, and how I cook is really transformed too. When I started out, it was like, oh, I got to buy this ingredient. Oh, we're going to do it this way.
Right.
And now, and I think this is a true testament of real chefs, is when you can make something out of nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't shop for my meals that I cook. I look at what's lying around convenient and I make something out of it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, man. And I think the diversity that you have on your channel is what's going to make you get to that level where you're going to, what they say, pop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you
Yeah.
do.
I love so much different things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do fishing and cooking, and then I'm like, I love to camp and hunt in the outdoors, and I was like, I really like mechanics. I remember, there's like these points, like when you catch your first big snook down here for me, like,
Yeah.
okay, hooked. I remember when I built my first engine and turned it on and just heard the throatiness and roar of that engine, and I'm like, this is just, I just like brought it to life.
Yeah, when the propeller's out of the water, it sounds like a race car.
Yeah, you're like, whoa. It just is the creativity. And I think, what really drives me as an individual is having a product to show for it.
Yes.
So I had parts and I made an engine. I have, like I love fly fishing, and I don't even do very much of it on my channel, but the point that I can tie a fly and go catch a fish on it,
Yeah.
that I can catch that fish and create a wonderful meal out of it. All these those acts are significant to me. It's like an act of creation, and it's really fulfilling to me.
And it is, to be honest, man. I was telling Chris a while back when I was in New Jersey, I used to turn wood. I used to turn my own lures, right? And the sense of being able to create something in a shed, paint it, I mean, put the through wire, the swivels right, everything right to this thing swims perfectly, and then get it out there and catch a fish with it. That alone was, unbelievably fulfilling, let alone bringing that catch home and cooking it and providing it to your family, dude. I mean, taking it to a whole other level.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And, it really inspires me to do more.
Right.
When I was young, fishing has always been my first love. I mean, I'll tell you that right off the bat. Since I could talk, walk, I was on the water in some way or fashion. I mean, 100% of the time. After school, everybody else was getting into trouble. I was going fishing.
Yeah.
And every step, at first I was like, oh, I'm just a lure fisherman. And I'm like, oh, what's this fly fishing? Oh, no, I'm not a lure fisherman. Those guys, I'm a fly fisherman, and then I was like, huh, these guys are live baiting? That's cheating, And now, I've really become to, just with that walk, the whole art form of it, finding the bait, watching the migrations, learning the patterns, and and how to catch it and how to treat it and how to make it happen, and learning every individual species. And I was studying snook when I was young because that was like my favorite fish in the world. And I'm like, I'm gonna be a marine biologist. I love studying fish, I mean, and I learned about all the species of snook, and there's 12 that I found. There might be a 13th one now, but when I was studying it, there was 12 species of snook, subspecies around the world, and 4 of them were found in Florida, and we just added a 5th to that list too. And I was like, learning how they grow and what size they get to, and that they're hermaphrodites, and their migration patterns, and I mean, like, woo, going crazy. And I just dive into everything like that. And it's just such an addiction to me. I'm an information junkie.
I remember when I was down there, somebody had mentioned that they caught a tarpon snook, and I was kind of like bamboozled, like, wait a second, what, did a tarpon and a snook have a baby together? Like, what's going on? But then I started to learn. I started to learn that there are many different species of snook, and that's something very interesting for people who love fishing for them.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, Chris, you ready for this? So it blew my mind. And it kind of makes my little one laugh when we tell her that snook are legitimately hermaphrodites.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, depending on the water temperature, I think it is when they actually are, younglings or fry, depends on if they're going to be female or male, or do they transition right before they have their young? I can't remember what it is, but it's wild that they can even do that.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The story I'm told is that all small snook are males. Now I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I've read. The more I read about everything in life, the more I realize how little we actually know.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the people writing the books as well. It's like, where I stand with science, it's like an ongoing evolution of what we know and understand and comprehend based on the information we just received.
Yeah, absolutely.
It changes all the time. What I learned was all small snooker males around 30 to 32 inches, they change to females. And that's why there's a limit on snook now. You can't keep one very large anymore because those are all the breeder stock.
Mm.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
that's good information to know. But from the small knowledge that I do have, I've always learned that the females are always bigger in majority of species, except for pretty much ours.
Right.
So I totally get that, man. But also to piggyback off of something you said earlier about, am I just a live bait guy? Am I just an artificial guy? Now, I totally get that, man. And there are some dudes that are die-hard artificial, and I respect it. That's their kind of fishery. But like for guys like the three of us who realize that, hey, every day is different.
Absolutely.
One day they're gonna hit this DOA shrimp,
Right.
but the next day they don't want to touch it. They might want to hit a Yozuri plug. And that's just the diversity of fishing. Every single day is different.
It is, and the way I have evolved in that is, I fish based on what works best for people, especially if I'm not trying to refine an art. But
Yeah.
Seasonally, we have a great artificial fishery until summertime, and then
Right.
when summertime comes, it's a live bait fishery.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the fishery transitions, it's hard to go catch a big snook at 1 or 2 in the afternoon in July.
Yeah.
No, I mean I do it all the time, but you bring that back to April or May, and I'll catch them all day long. But right when June and July hit, the fishery totally changes. So guess what? I become a live bait fisherman.
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
you know what, Chris. I think limiting yourself too, man. Like when I was younger, I did almost exactly what you did. I would, live bait is cheating. I'm an artificial guy until I saw the guys out there out fishing me with the live bait, and then I'm like, well, maybe next time I won't bring this guy that thinks I'm an artificial guy. You know what I'm saying? We'll do some live baiting.
Right. Yeah.
I figured out, dude, that I'm limiting myself to possibilities
Absolutely.
that can be endless, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, so as I started to try to like kind of recraft my craft, if you would say, then I started finding out that there's no sense of cheating in it, dude. I mean, we're fishing. We're just trying. Personally, we're trying to better ourselves, take in as much knowledge as we can to understand something that is so misunderstood. I mean,
absolutely.
So I mean, it's a hard game.
You hit a topic right there for me. Something that is so misunderstood.
Right.
Now we live in a different world now. All right.
Yeah.
And, I'm a captain and I'm friends and I work with a lot of other captains. And there's like, West Side Story going on. Oh, you can't talk to him. He's one of those captains.
Yeah.
Captain hates that captain. And I'm like, guys, there are so few of us, sportsmen left in society advocating for our rights and our fisheries and our conservation.
Right.
What we need to do is fight amongst ourselves.
Very
Exactly,
agreed.
Because we are the absolute last line of defense of what's going on, because the government and the pencil pushers and these lawmakers who are only writing these laws because of lobbies.
Yes.
The only ones who get screwed are guys like us. Like I would say 95% of my friends are all charter captains, and I see the financial burden that it takes every single year. Right now, some headboat captains have to up their price to $90 per fare. You know what I'm saying? The cost of fuel is getting so ridiculous. I mean, they're killing us with the regulations.
Right.
They're killing us with what we can keep, what we can catch, what's a protected species, and now you're killing the overhead with the cost of fuel, and it's getting beyond ridiculous. And it's like some of these captains honestly tell me, like, I don't know if I'm going to run another charter next year.
Yeah,
and it's really sad to hear that.
A lot of these guys are going to go out of business with the way things are, unfortunately. And we need the professional advocacy in the community for what we're doing. And I'm all for common sense regulations, and I'm all for environment. I mean, sportsmen are the greatest environmentalists there are, because we're the avid users of the resource, and we don't want it to go away. We want to keep it and have it for our kids.
I agree 100%.
So, I mean, all these armchair activists that don't actually go out and experience what we experience are making regulations based on what they're reading and seeing, but not what they know or their love for it. And our love for the conservation and the sport and the outdoors is what really will keep it alive for future generations.
Absolutely.
So Chris, not to get off that topic because I love that topic, and the other Chris knows we could talk about that all freaking
all
night.
night, yeah.
No, we can talk about that all year.
Oh yeah. But where did you get started fishing, man? I know you spoke a little bit about how your family is in the mechanics kind of trait, and they have like a Suzuki dealer, or they're affiliated with Suzuki. So is that kind of where you got your start into the industry with
Not
fishing?
at all. Not
Okay.
at all. I started out fishing, in my mama's belly, and I was on boats before I was born, and shortly thereafter. And I happened to spend enough time on the river to make friends with captains at a very young age.
Yeah.
And I was able to work with fishing companies, when I was like 15, so it was pretty cool. They're like, hey, we're going to go test these rods. You want to come? Hey, we developed a new lure. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Hey, we're filming a show. You want to run a camera boat? And then I became a chef, and they're like, hey, we're filming a show. You want to do a cooking segment? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That came that way, and have just made a plethora of friends in the industry, and my love and passion for it just kind of drives me, and now I'm putting myself out there more than ever on the social media network of the internet, and more people, and I just want to share my love and passion for it.
No, it's good, man. It's really good.
Absolutely, man. And speaking of some of the fishing companies that you work with, I mean, I see a lot on that wall behind you. If you want to go over some of the companies you go with, the floor is yours, brother.
I might pull up a list. I'm very good at making some great friends in the industry, and being a captain, a chef, and a fisherman and a mechanic, I do well meeting and dealing with these companies. The one you see right here is Neptonics. Neptonics is this great Florida company out of Tampa. One of the largest wholesale suppliers of spearfishing gear.
Nice.
I made friends. One of the owning partners, Jerry Guerrera, served in our military and loves to dive and spearfish. And him and his partners started that company. And you just order online. It goes anywhere you need it shipped. And you can do anything from buy ready-made spear guns and fins to build your own in-house. Danko, I'm sure a lot of people know Danko. The owner, the president, and the vice president are all very good friends of mine. Met them in the fishing community. They started off making pliers. They're world renowned for their pliers. They make the best pliers in the world. They make amazing knives now, and amongst many, many other things. They're really growing every day. What's crazy is, you got to love about Danko is all their products, like 90% of them have lifetime warranties on them. So
that's
like
awesome.
a $50 knife set, $50, you get 3 knives. And if you break it, they replace them.
Hey,
how do you beat that?
That's awesome. I mean, for a company to stand behind their product like that, I mean, first off, that price point is already phenomenal because,
great price.
I was in Walmart a few days ago and I saw a knife that cost $46 for one knife.
For one knife. And you're buying 3 fillet knives for $50. I think it's $49.99. They say it's under $50.
Yeah.
And I think they might even have free shipping or something. It's crazy. Like, great knife deals. And then I'll move my camera. I've been with DOA forever.
Yes.
Mark Nichols, Ed Zayak over there at DOA. Been on pro staff for quite a while now. Great local company. And it's funny. I grew up fishing DOA, because they've been around since the 80s. And, I met Mark and his business partner then, Jerry, years ago. And as a kid, I met them. And, the coolest thing as a kid is to bump into guys like that and them hand you a bag full of lures. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And I was like, I don't know, 15, 14. And I bumped into Mark Nichols and Jerry Rosen. And I think they gave me I had a couple buddies with me. They gave me 2 big old bags of DOA Terrorize. And I think it was only offered in 3 colors then,
Right.
That's
we were the happy kids in town.
Awesome.
I mean, we fished nonstop, and I've always had a great love for the company, and it's really a pleasure for me to be able to work with the guys that I grew up with. And then Ed Zayak, he's the pro staff manager, marketing guy for the DOA, and he runs the company over there with Mark and Chris. And I tell you what, just to go out and fish and do all this stuff with them. And Ed's like a world-class charter captain, and he films 4 different TV shows, and he's, top shelf guys. And I tell you,
it's nice, dude. And Chris, it's nice to have guys like that are like-minded around you, dude. I mean,
they really are. But the thing is the more I dive into the industry, the more I realize how like-minded we all are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's great. I didn't know that going in, you know, but I work with a ton of companies. I hate not to mention everybody. You know, my local rod builder is South Fork Rods. I don't know if you know South Fork Rods.
Oh, yeah.
I have heard of them. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is their name is Reddington. I think you've heard that name before. Okay, and that's where Reddington Rods came from. Okay.
Okay.
His father, Dave Reddington, was the co-founder of Reddington Rod Corporation, which was located right here in town. And then Reddington Rods eventually, they had partners and they sold, and they started Reddington Rod Company, which is Dave Reddington's son, Brad Reddington. And Brad builds all the stuff local, you know, right here in town. And with his father's still involved in the business. And I mean, you got so many expert years of rod building going on there. It's pretty amazing stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
So much experience, and you know, they're like-minded. You know, they're good old guys, love fishing. They're just like the rest of us, and that's just what that's what they get to do. You know.
Yeah.
I use
awesome.
Yozuri. You know, Chris Bishop. He is one of the guys that heads up Yozuri down here, and I was lucky enough to meet him and get put on the team. And you know, I've been using their braid and lures for years, and now I'm a great advocate because pretty much almost all the companies I'm sponsored by, I use, are companies I believe in and I've worked with. You know, having been in the industry so long, as far as a consumer. You know, I always loved Yozuri. It's always been, you know, one of my go-to lures, and now they have braid and fluorocarbon, and I'm, you know, I mean, we all use braid now, and I'm a braid junkie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love my Power Pro. I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes to my Top Shot, for sure, all I use is Yozuri. That is for sure. I can't even lie about that. And speaking of Yozuri, I mean, I wanted to bring this up a little bit later, but I used Yozuri 100-pound test fluorocarbon to catch my first ever tarpon.
Mhm.
I need you to do me a favor.
What's that?
Because you and Aaron are basically less than an hour away from each other. I need you to put my boy to land his first tarpon. I need you to do that.
Chris, it's sad, dude, right? It's really sad. Listen, I know we don't know each other well, dude, right? I'm a monster when it comes to fishing, dude. I love it, bro. You spoke about it earlier when you're like, you know, I started getting into the migration patterns of the bait and all. Listen, I'm the same kind of monster, right? Hardcore with it, dude. Weather patterns to the pressure to freaking everything, right? And when it comes down to brass tacks, dude, I've hooked in to a handful of really massive tarpon, and they just freaking run a football field. I've pulled them out of bridge pilings. I've gotten them to my feet, and they throw the hook every friggin' time on me, dude. So it's one of the things that's like you know?
You know, I think you hook 100 and land one.
I hear you. Yeah, well, that's where I'm at right now. So hopefully one's coming soon.
I think what's Aaron's biggest kick in the chops is I went down there my first time for vacation, and first cast caught my first tarpon, landed it with no problem. And Aaron has been living there for 6 years and still hasn't got one landed yet.
They're tough. They are a tough fish, you know, and you know, there's so much that goes into catching them, and then once you get to the point of actually hooking the fish, you gotta keep it hooked. And
right.
It's probably the hardest fish to keep hooked.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know of a harder fish to keep hooked.
And to save face for Aaron, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't cheat, but I did use a carcass of a snapper, so that's why I caught mine. No, I caught mine with no problem. The first time I fished with Aaron, I realized how hardcore this dude was. I mean, I'm pitching a lure. For me, it's not working. I put on some live bait. I'm having no problem. This man stayed dedicated and hardcore. He was like, "No, I'm not switching to live bait. Nope. And then he finally got his, and he's just like, "See, I told you." I mean, Aaron is all about the science. He is a scientific fisherman. You know, that's what he's all about.
Yeah, I fished these windows where like it's slack tide at the inlet over here. I'm sure you're familiar with Sebastian Inlet, right? Mm-hmm. So I fish these very small windows. We call them from again another professional fisherman, the non-human hours, right? So it's got to be the middle of friggin' of 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's sleeping, getting ready to go up to work, and it's slack tide to incoming tide. So outgoing, you get that slack break, and then right before it turns around, you have that half an hour window there where all the monsters are just ready to bite, dude. And I mean, there's a couple little holes in there where if you target them just perfect, then you'll catch the monsters. But yeah, no, I that time we went out with Chris, I had this one, what was it, Z-Man diesel minnow, one of the extra large guys, right? Like 7-inch or 8-inch, something like that. And I knew it, Chris. I knew it. I knew if I sat this thing in front of one of these guys at the right friggin' time, it was gonna happen. But we got there a little early when the tide was still ripping, and I just couldn't get it to float back and drop where I wanted it to. And then when it slowed down, it happened. I mean, we got him, but so
absolutely.
So Chris, sorry.
No, I was just saying they're such a challenging fish,
Yeah, no, for sure.
We do have a great local population, and we're in the middle. We're in the beginning of our migratory push right now. We're a couple months into it, where we get the big fish migrating up and down the coastline with the white baits, and then we'll finish it off with the mullet run in the fall, September, October, and then a lot of the big fish will move out, and then we have the residential small fish all year. But yeah, this is the time. Just gotta put in the hours and make it happen.
For sure, Chris. Listen, I know earlier you mentioned that you have a captain's license. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you captaining
No.
I guess on the side? No, that was a quick answer.
No, I did it a little bit. And,
yeah.
I don't have time for it. I like to have it. It's definitely street cred in the industry.
It's always something to fall back on too.
Always something to fall back on. As long as you keep it up, you never lose it. And I'm just too busy. I'm too busy. I am a real chef. I'm an executive chef of a huge facility, and it really takes a lot of my life to run those businesses. And
for sure.
My spare time isn't usually put on people paying me to take them fishing. It's usually taking myself fishing.
Right.
It's keeping it a passion.
Yeah.
You touch base that you are an executive chef, and one of the things that I enjoy watching about your channel, I've been watching since Aaron has brought you to my attention. I've been watching your channel pretty much all week, and I am not gonna lie, man. That blackened snook video that you made, it had me watering. I'm willing to try that with like a striper or something up here in the north, unless if Aaron can FedEx me a snook, that'd be great. But what I like about your channel is, you got the executive chef side, kind of like let's say a big name chef like a Gordon Ramsay. You're just as good as him, but you're also teaching people how to do gourmet meals at home, and that's what I think is awesome about your channel.
Well, one thing I hate about chefs is they try to make everything way too complicated.
Yeah.
It's got we're making some fancy crap.
Yeah. I hear you.
And I've really worked with some amazing chefs, and I've really worked with a lot of very, very high-end clientele, a lot of movie stars and hedge fund managers and all kinds of stuff. And, the fancy foo-foo is nice.
Yeah.
But, it always comes back to
I'm a big boy. I like to eat.
It's all about good food made right.
Absolutely.
Just having fresh ingredients, we're catching the ingredients,
Yeah, don't get faster than that.
All the other stuff is lost. I remember I was working with some very well-off people, and at the end of the day, they still want a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
They just want a good cheeseburger. What I mean? At the end of the day, they want a grilled cheese. They just want a good grilled cheese,
Yeah.
And I think we get really lost in all the just too much. I mean, I love it. It's what I do. But, I don't think it has a place for everyone all the time. Even the people that want fine dining all the time get sick of it.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
In my opinion, we grew up, my family background is European Portuguese. And Portuguese people, the way that they cook is simplicity is key. Not a whole lot of seasonings, not a whole lot of this, not a whole lot of that, but yet the food is still always so flavorful.
Right.
And I see a lot of that in your cooking. You keep it very, very simple, but yet I can tell when your wife is eating a dish that she's just like, oh my God, this is like heaven in my mouth right now.
Why do we ever go out to dinner? And I'm like, good night. I'm like, you're killing me here, right?
All right, we gotta cook every night here, dude.
It's like, oh my goodness, I was lucky on that side. I partnered with Florida Boy Spice Co. And they make these really great seasonings all ready to go, and they're really good. And I don't mean like, oh wow, these are amazing, you gotta try them. The quality of the ingredients that they're putting on the market is what is so good. The product that he makes is amazing. It's good stuff. And I mean, in all regards, it's fresh. It's like healthy. It's just good. It's like non-GMO. There's just so many great things about it. And he made a great product that here it is. It's ready to go. You don't have to think about it. Just use it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And they got ready pre-made flavors for you, but there's like no salt in any of them. And they're good. And they accent everything so well when you cook with them.
There's a company, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. We're not sponsored by them for sure, or I would remember their name, but it's made by they put this on the label, woman-made company, woman-made spice, right? And I think we bought this at some whole goods store. When I tell you, we had to look it back up and reorder it because it was the freshest ingredients, dude, right? Just like you said, it was like, everything was locally sourced and then dried and then, made into this spice. I get it. I got to look up these Florida Boys, man. I never heard of them.
Yeah, Florida Boy Spice Co. I work with a lot of local companies, and he's a local company. And I do that purposely. I believe in supporting what's local, and, that's just who I am. And, we made a good relationship. He's a great guy, and the products are awesome. And there's no reason I couldn't get behind it.
For sure. For sure, especially being
no reason I can't get behind what he does. It was just done right.
Chris, I gotta ask you a question. This is something that I want to start asking almost every guest now on our podcast. And just to stop real fast, we are with Chris from Outdoors. Everybody on TikTok that is watching, make sure you go over to his channel and give him a follow. But what is one of the worst, right? I know we're keeping it up on an upbeat, positive.
Oh, I got lots of worst.
Here.
Go ahead.
Good. What is the worst fishing trip that you've ever had?
Oh God.
So I have a lot of worsts. I'm not
okay.
gonna lie. I have horror stories. Being on the water and having overconfidence in what I can do.
Yeah.
And being a mechanic and being able to fix things and make things work that I really shouldn't make work has put me in a lot of bad places.
Yep.
Dangerous, life-threatening places.
Yeah.
But this is my spin on life. All right. And let me get this out of the way first. So I believe, first of all, that it creates amazing memories.
For sure.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody, everybody wants their Christmas to be so amazing for their kids. Oh, I got Timmy this and Johnny that, and oh, it was so great, and the Christmas tree was perfect, and the lights were hung just right. And I have a conversation with a lot of people about life perspective, and I'm the eternal optimist, all right? And I don't remember any of them Christmases.
Yeah.
Right. I remember one time I got a pocket knife and sliced my finger open, blood everywhere.
Yeah, you remember that?
I'm like, man, that is awesome. That's
right, remember that.
Childhood memory, And so I've probably sunk my boat like 3 times now.
Right.
All right. I've run out of air scuba diving multiple times on the bottom. Had to buddy breathe to the surface in the middle of the night while night diving. I literally last week I sunk a boat.
Oh no,
man!
Literally all the time. I'm out with my buddy. I don't know if you guys saw the storms that were blowing through last week.
Oh yeah,
I heard of them.
Right, I was out in every storm because if I got time to go fishing, guess what? I'm going fishing.
You're going,
absolutely.
I'm out in the middle of the ocean, and there's actually a video of me and my buddy on Instagram or TikTok or both right now with some music jamming, and we got out there. One engine died, and the boat started filling up with water, and the other engine died.
Oh my God, dude!
Oh man, that's bad.
And we, it's just like the seas kicked up. It's like 6-7 foot. They're rolling. The whole floorboards are full of water, and we finally got the main bilge pump working, and I set my big butt on the front of the boat to get the scuppers out of the water, and
Right.
set that boat pump out, and then realized we were stuck and called for help for someone to finally come out and get the batteries and engines a jump to get us back in, because the electrical, one of the batteries had like a short cell in it and killed all the batteries on board, and the engines weren't turning over the run, and it's the middle of the night. I didn't get home.
Gosh.
Right?
Hey man, I'm just glad you made it back to the dock.
I put myself in situations like that all the time. What I really got to start doing is, instead of like fixing it, I got to start filming it.
Right. Yeah. No, and Chris, to be honest with you, dude, a lot of what you're talking about has made me the captain that I am today, dude. I dealt with a lot of that growing up because I couldn't afford to have somebody fix my own shit, right? So I would booger it in a way to where I knew this trip we could not miss. I mean, the bunker run was on, dude. The stripers were there. We got to get out and make it happen. So everything was on the table. We get out there, and then the boat starts taking on water, and the bilge pump fails. So your quick reaction time to not dying is what makes you the person and captain you are today. You know, for sure.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna write here a note to self: if I ever buy a piece of crap boat, to make sure I take both these guys out with me.
I'm good. You know, I mean, that's how I roll. And the thing is, you know, I hate how disconnected the rest of the world gets from the regular sportsman. You know, I mean, not everybody's got the $5,000-$10,000 shotgun. Not everybody's got the $1,000 fishing reel. Nobody's got the $80,000 bay boat, or the 30-foot contender or whatever. You know, and I look at that in my cooking too. You know, very rarely will you see me use something super fancy. And if it is, it's because somebody gave it to me to promote or try or get an honest opinion on as a person in the industry. You know, I'm not going out and buying caviar. I'm not going out and buying truffles. That's not who I am. Now, I may get it for free, and from a sponsor or from industry people, because I am a chef. You know, I get all kinds of ingredients all the time. But and that's something I plan to always keep real. You know, I mean, my boat's 20 years old. You know, I'm pretty sure my bearings are going. It's got a little noise going on right now, but I was out 20 miles in it the other day.
Hey, and listen, Chris, to be honest with you, dude, that's what kind of drove me to you on TikTok, dude. It was the fact that you're honest, you're humble, and it looked to me as if you were putting out there who you are every day. Not just who you are in front of the camera, but who you actually are every day in real life, dude. So, again, we value that here on this channel, dude. We really do.
Yeah, and I try to. You know, I mean, I may have learned to talk better in front of the camera, but that's about it. Other rest is just regular old me. I mean, I'm full of crap normally too, you know.
Us too, you know.
All right, man. Well, before we wrap up, I got 2 more questions for you. If I call you tomorrow morning and say, "Let's go fishing," what do you want to target?
Well, I'll let you know. So, is this a fishing report or a personal inquisition?
Personal inquisition.
Okay. I fish seasonally, personally. So I'm a snook fisherman. That's who I am. That's what I'm born and raised to do. I catch thousands of snook a year. Just what I do. All right. But I fish seasonally. So now that the snook are spawning, they're definitely in spawn mode, migrating towards the inlets. I kind of leave them alone unless I have somebody that really wants to go target them for a good day of fishing and have some fun. Yeah. Because that's the brood stock. That's the next generation. I kind of take the pressure off them. All right.
Absolutely.
What I do is right now, our snapper season.
Okay.
Is going
great tasting fish.
So now I'm snapper fishing, and the seas are all laid down and the water clarity's up. So I'm snapper fishing and I'm spear fishing, and then lobster's right around the corner, opening season. So I kind of get going in a lot of different directions. So like we went out Thursday. And we spearfished in the evening, and then we snapper fished in the nighttime.
Wow, sweet. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a good trip.
My second question was, what is your absolute favorite fish to cook and have and enjoy for yourself?
I don't know.
I just put him on the hot seat right there. He's got to think.
No, I barely eat snook anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've just caught and cooked so many of them. And I'm getting a little bit more of a conservationist on that side. I take a couple for some videos,
Yeah.
and feed some family. But other than that, you know, I'm enjoying fish I never would enjoy before. I'd say my favorite fish I cooked in this past year was a porgy.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
dude.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, if I'm like, I just want a basic plain fish that takes the flavor that I give it,
Yep.
dolphin's easy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Snapper's pretty easy. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows snapper. Everybody knows dolphin. Not everybody knows snook because you can't buy it. You have to be a fisherman or sportsman to know about it. But
For sure.
we caught some great porgies this year. I really hadn't eaten a lot of porgy.
Right. Yeah.
And,
No, that's usually I consider that a northern fish. Like we head up to Montauk area or even Long Island. I mean, hell, even where Chris is in New Jersey, and there's tons of porgy fishing boats, bro. I mean, bunch of head boats that go out filled with people, fill their coolers. I mean, big hog, nice porgies, dude. But again, to catch them down here, I mean, I know they do it. It's just something that I consider.
I gotta be honest about porgy.
If it's the same porgy here, is it up there?
No, it's completely different. What we have up here, technically, and it's not really a porgy. What it is, it's called scup.
Okay.
I mean, when me and my fiance Claudia went down to the Florida Keys and we were on a head boat, the Marathon Lady, she caught a fish and I happened to ask the mate. I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, that's a porgy." I looked at it and I said, "That's a porgy." This thing was like 9 pounds. I'm like, "That's a big freaking porgy, man."
Porgy down here too.
The porgy we catch, the porgy that we catch up here in the Northeast. You're talking about 9 inches, 12 inches.
Yeah.
The biggest porgy I've ever caught has been 18.5 inches.
Yeah.
For her to catch an 8-pound porgy, I was just like, wow, that's kind of crazy, man.
And that brings us to like, what does everybody call everything too?
Yeah. No, sure.
I mean, what I call a porgy is similar to a grunt, but it's not a grunt. Similar to a grunt. More of a silvery fish, something I would use for bait, or but they get a little bit bigger. But we had some real nice ones and we kept them, and it was great. We
Chris,
speared a lot of spearfish too.
Do you know what fish I've tried, and in spearfishing kind of reminded me of this. The only fish that I really, really, really enjoyed while I've been down here was hogfish, dude. That was something that a guy spearfished, brought some home for me, man, and I was like, I was literally ready to pull the spear gun out of the closet, dude, and start spearfishing again. Like, I was like, oh, where did you get this?
No, hogfish is great. We don't have a huge population here. They're mostly southern, south of us. So, I mean, every once in a while, I'll get like one a year up here, I'll stumble upon, and we see a lot of juvenile, but I never find the big ones up here. Most of them come from down south, but they're amazing fish. I do love them. They're definitely a great fish, and they have a different texture and flavor than the other fish.
And to be honest, they look cool as hell.
They're cool.
Yeah.
Florida rooster fish or something,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the lips on that fish, it looks crazy. You look at it and just be like, what the hell is that? But then you bite into it and it's just like, it's like savory, butterly.
It is. They're in the rasp family, it's called. The rasp fish, which is like the grunt family. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then grunt is another good tasting fish too if you catch enough of them because, they're small.
It's so funny, you get some big grunts. They're really white meat. I catch a lot of giant pinfish too. I mean, big pinfish, and they're good to eat too. I kind of, I love to steer people towards alternate fish. We're all hung up on dolphin and grouper and snapper and whatever, and that's great. I mean, I'm happy everybody enjoys them, but there's a lot of other fish in the ocean.
Especially down there in Florida. I mean, the ocean down there is just so plentiful with so many different species. And that's, me and Aaron had this conversation. We were texting the other day. He was just like, "You going fishing today?" I'm just like, what am I going to catch? A flounder, a striper, a blue? It's just like, again, the thing is down there in Florida, you got so many different things that you can catch in a span of 10 minutes. It's just amazing.
It really is. And regionally where I'm at, we have such a diverse ecosystem. They're ruining it, but it's a very diverse ecosystem. We don't have to get on the bandwagon on that right now. But
I hear you.
It's like for another show, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, man.
But here locally, I can go out in the morning and catch a sailfish or a dolphin. Come inshore and catch some type of snapper. Come in the river and catch a snook or something else or a tarpon. And then I got freshwater right here too. I can catch a speck or a panfish, a bluegill, or a bass.
Right.
And I mean all within where I live in Martin County, all within Martin County.
Yeah.
Without going anywhere far. So I mean, I feel very blessed to be in a place where I can do all that.
For sure.
That's awesome, man. Well, unfortunately we're running out of time, so I just want you to let all the listeners and viewers know where can they catch you, on what social media, and how can they find you. And I will leave links in the description down below.
All right. Well, I am Chef Outdoors on YouTube is where you can find all my videos. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me there with links to all my other social media channels as well.
Go and get them, guys.
chefoutdoors.com.
Go and get 'em.
Absolutely, man. Well, Chris, thank you for coming on, man. It was a pleasure talking to you, and look forward to more content in the future for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, brother. It was a great conversation with Chris over at the Chef Outdoors YouTube channel, man. The guy, he seems like a great guy. Definitely been in the industry for a long time. And for me as a viewer, what I can say for sure is he definitely knows his way around the kitchen. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it touches a lot of people's hearts, dude, because he takes ingredients that aren't, hard to come by. They're not some things like he even said. You're not cooking snook with a layer of truffles and a side of caviar. Like he's anything that's available for this man, he makes it the best way possible, dude, and it usually comes out friggin' amazing. I mean, Chris, to have this guy in my backyard, we're gonna take advantage of that. Hopefully here shortly, get out on the boat with this guy and do some more fishing, and then maybe take advantage of the chef part when we get home and do dude.
I mean, that's one thing that I can say for sure. No matter how many gourmet restaurants or how many restaurants I go to, nothing will always be as good as that perfect home cooked meal. You know what I'm saying? Like that family time cooked at home. That's always the best, and it hits the stomach the best. I'm allowed to say that because I am your residential big man, so I know a thing or two about food. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a foodie as much as I am a fisherman, dude. So let me tell you, they go hand in hand in this household, dude. We took a trip to Savannah, Georgia here recent or just a little while back, and I mean, Chris, I can't even lie. We went to some really nice restaurants, but the nicest restaurant of them all was a southern home cooked meal feel restaurant, dude, where we got like cream of corn, sweet potatoes with sweet potatoes with marshmallows and brown sugar, and then fried chicken, dude. I mean, this is a 5-star, 3-tier restaurant where you had to be dressed to the T to go, and they had fried chicken and sweet potatoes, dude. I mean, that was the best place.
Why are you doing this to me, man? You talking about sweet potatoes and fried chicken, man? You got me hungry over here.
Yeah, and it had us. You know what I'm saying? So we could have had that filet mignon with the truffle sauce, dude. But again, we went to that more homey feel of that like southern in-house small kitchen cookery, dude, and it was amazing, dude. And that's what this Chef Outdoors offers, dude. He offers you a way to see what you can pull out of your home waters and how you can prepare it in a way where you'd think you'd get it out of a 5-star restaurant.
Absolutely, man. It was also good to hear about some of the sponsors that he works with in the industry. I mean, Yozuri speaks for itself. Yep. The one thing I can say about one of his sponsors, which is DOA, which is not really a big thing up here in the Northeast, but you Floridians will live and die by DOA, man. You guys love that company more than anything on the planet, that's for sure.
So yes and no, because you can't call me a true Floridian, that's for sure, dude. My heart is back north, but I will tell you this: they have their time and place, just like any lure, dude. But preferably, I'm a Z-Man guy, dude. But listen, don't shoot me, Floridians. I know the DOA game down here is hardcore, dude. If you literally, had DOAs on the boat or it was a DOA versus something else, dude, they will literally fish with the best, dude. They're, if not the best. So, I mean, they're right up there with anything else, Chris, to be completely honest.
And I agree with you, man. DOA makes a great product. I've seen them used. I personally haven't used it because when I was my time in Florida, I hadn't had everything figured out. So I was sticking to the live bait because, live bait is live bait. It's always going to catch fish. You know what I'm saying? So that was more my thing. But, we got Chris to plug his sponsors. Now we're going to plug our sponsor, a big promoter of the show, big supporter of the show. Damon's just an overall great guy and has a phenomenal product. And, of course, we're going to leave you with the gift.
And the gift is Angler Talk 10. Ladies and gentlemen, we've said this in prior podcasts. I'm telling you, if you got something free, you might as well take advantage of it. And it is a gift. It's a gift from us to you guys. You guys go into checkout when you're looking at some of these amazing bait tanks. You decide on the bait tank you want. You go through the Build the Bait Tank site, go through all of the specs on what you need for your application. On your way through checkout, Angler Talk 10 will give you a percentage off of that tank. Angler Talk 10. Ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely, man. And guys, take advantage. It's never a bad thing to save money, that's for sure.
No.
But for this week, we are out of time. So he's Aaron and I'm Chris, and we're out. Tight lines.